Great to have your company once again on Heat Check. This is the show that looks here and abroad, men's and women's, at everything happening around the world when it comes to Australian basketball. And yes, we are here to check heat. That's what we do on this show. I'm Jack Heverin, standing in for Joel Peterson this week, but we can't do a show without Michael Houben from basketball.com.au. Mick, great to see you.
Thanks, mate, and great to be doing it with you as well.
We've got a lot to get through today. Some congratulations in just a few moments as well, but we're going to get to the draft combine very shortly and what's leading up to a couple of really pivotal weeks for a couple of young Australians.
It's really heating up now. We're starting to see some of the early feedback, some guys participating in the scrimmages, some not. We'll get into that a little bit more, but a very exciting time for all of them.
And a couple of big numbers in NBL 1 that we'll get to shortly as well. Basketball.com.au, of course, is where you need to head for all the latest news and information. As I mentioned, let's start with congratulations, which goes to one of Australia's greatest ever basketballers, Andrew Bogut, on the weekend, going into the FIBA Hall of Fame. There he is with that big smile of his. This is an amazing achievement and amazing recognition.
Yeah, so fantastic that him and FIBA have sort of sorted out their grievances and now they're on good stead because his name is going to be etched in those headquarters in Switzerland for quite a long time.
Which he now knows where they are.
Absolutely, yep. No, he's cleared the air, everything's good, and rightfully so that his name is in the records here. He has had a fantastic career, not just in the NBA, but also for Australia. He's been, you know, a captain of these Boomers teams. He's really set the tone as far as that culture for the Boomers. And of course, the #1 overall pick, the first one we've ever had as well.
You can get a bit lost in his resume, can't you? I was reading up on him, obviously, in the lead up to today's show. There's a lot to get through in his career.
Yeah, the resume is endless, but I think the biggest thing that resonates with me, you know, he came in between the Luke Longleys and this new wave of NBA talent. You know, we didn't have a lot of Australian representation at the NBA level, and not only did he hold the fort, but he was the #1 overall pick, had a fantastic NBA career, obviously a chip with the Warriors as well.
He made a great speech during the presentation last weekend. Let's take a little listen.
Your Highness, Your Excellencies and distinguished guests, I never would have imagined I'd be standing here in front of all of you, some friends, some family, basketball world. I have no doubt anyone standing up here would tell you this is a great honour. I'm no different. Thank you, FIBA. Thank you for this opportunity. I was never once in my backyard with a thought to be one day in the FIBA Hall of Fame. I wasn't in my backyard to one day play for the Australian Boomers in an Olympics or World Cup tournaments. I wasn't in that backyard to play in the NBA. That's what makes this so much more special. I truly love the game. I wanted to play, to compete, to win, to lose. I never played the game for individual awards, individual recognition. I, like many other people here, have a plethora of trophies. The structure and bling of these trophies mean absolutely nothing. It's the thought they provoke, the memory they have made, the battle, the sweat, the tears, the joy. Just to finish on the Boomers note, I'm most proud of the Australian Boomers once again finding the magic that has had them consistently in the top 4 at major tournaments over the past decade. I am proud that I was part of that program that continues to be passed on to the next generation as it was found, or sometimes even better. Basketball in Australia is thriving, and I love it.
Terrific speech, and congratulations, Bogues, on behalf of everyone here at HeatCheck and basketball.com.au. So from Bogues at the end of his basketballing journey as a player, at least, to one who's just started, Dash Daniels made his NBL 1 debut on the weekend for Sandringham. Hasn't played for a little while, but you couldn't tell.
It's not too often that we have a top 10 prospect in the NBL 1, figuring it all out, you know, figuring out his upside, and he looked fantastic. Had a little bit of a slow start, a few careless turnovers, but once he got his feet wet, he was fantastic. Seeing a guard at 6'6" with his ability to attack the rim, he also hit some outside shots as well.
The interesting thing, I think, for Dash is that this is now his life, isn't it, playing against men. So he's finished up a lot of the junior stuff now and all of those sorts of things. He is now playing against bigger, taller, stronger guys, and he didn't look fazed in the slightest.
This is a great new place to sort of experience Dash's game and how he's going to translate to the NBL level. As you said, playing against grown men. And we've seen guys of his youth, I think of Rocco Zikarsky, I think of Kareem Lopez. There's no denying Dash's talent, but is he going to be a bit more of a project like Rocco, or someone that doesn't matter like Kareem, that he's just going to come in straight away and dominate the league? I think, you know, if we continue to see play at this level, you know, it might be a little bit more of the latter.
Get the feeling that Dean Vickerman would have liked what he saw as well. He'd be a next star with Melbourne United this coming season. Speaking of NBL 1, you just never know who's going to be in the crowd at an NBL 1 game. We've seen Josh Giddey in recent weeks. I think we all know, well, both of those guys, David Anderson with some of the most beautiful hair in Australian basketball, and the GOAT, Brian Goorjian at Frankston Stadium.
Two absolute legends of the game. It's fantastic to see Dave down at his old stomping ground on old Frankston Blue. And of course, Gorge, we know he loves the game at all levels. So fantastic to see them courtside.
Don't really know who Brian would have been watching, but I know Sydney need one more big. So maybe he's having a look at someone there as well. Now, I'm standing in for Joel Peterson this week. So this is normally Joel's caper where he likes to scour the globe, Mick. He likes to look for some of the best commentary pieces and we like to play them. Well, we didn't have to look too hard this week because Sam Menenga threw one down with authority and the commentary was just as good.
A una de las máximas leyendas del baloncesto puertorriqueño, a Paquito Rodríguez, y ahí el quita del medio de Sam Menenga, imponiendo respeto. El neozelandés con la zurda poderosa.
That was a nasty dunk and the commentary was just as fun.
So good. Joel, I'm so sorry that you missed this one, but Jack, I'm glad you can appreciate it. I think if anyone's seen Sam in the flesh, his size and his frame as well, you know, as a defender, you have to make a business decision. This guy made the wrong one.
No, that's a shocking business decision. Let's be really clear on that. We're going to get to Puerto Rico a little bit later on, but Sam Menenga's Puerto Rican season has been superb.
He's been fantastic, and it is a bit of a prelude to what's going to be a massive role in New Zealand as well. He's going to have a big opportunity to play big minutes, have a big role on the offensive end, and dunks like this are a good sign. One
of the other big news items in Australian basketball over the last 7 days has been the prospect of more games in an NBL Cup format. Olgun Ulich from ESPN tweeted this earlier in the week that it might be on the horizon for the NBL where we might see, say, a Wednesday midweek tournament, but more hoops.
I think this is really intriguing, and as you said, you know, we don't know what it's going to look like in practice, but in theory, my big takeaway is more games. You know, we know the NBL is quite a condensed season. We all want a little bit more, and I think this is a great way to get more NBL basketball through the season, and it's not very intrusive in the fixture either.
What else are you doing on a Wednesday night?
Exactly.
There's not much. So we'll see it. We'll keep an eye on that one, but that's news coming in the next few weeks, I reckon. Let's go overseas, Mick. This has been a big part of Heat Check in the last month or so. We mentioned it earlier as well. NBA draft is getting closer and closer and closer. Latest mock draft via Jonathan Gavoni came out in the last 48 hours. And great news for Alex Toohey. He's climbing every single time we see a mock draft.
Yeah, he's done all the right things since he's gotten over. He's done really well in the scrimmages. He's measured really well. He's 6'8" without shoes. That's 6'9" with shoes, assuming basketball shoes, maybe 6'10" in heels perhaps.
Yeah. But, I don't think he's playing in heels.
Let's say 6'9" in a basketball sense. But also someone, you know, when he gets into the interview process, he's articulate, he's intelligent. I think he's going to win teams over. And, you know, it's pretty safe to say at 39, he's going to get drafted somewhere.
Yeah, his combine, this is about just getting over there and making the best of what you've got every single day. And there've been a couple of shooting tests as well that may have been, if anything, was the slight knock on Alex here in the NBL. He's shot at sort of high 20s, early 30s. He gets over here at the combine and all the testing and he's knocking down threes.
Yeah, it is a promising sign. As we know, shooting in an empty gym 1-on-0 is very different to the game. So, there is still a little bit to prove there. But this has only helped his cause, and the fact that he was doing so well in actual scrimmage game situations as well and shooting it well there as well can only help.
And if you follow a lot of the journalists who are tweeting and reporting around the combine and everything going on, a couple of promising articles about Rocco Zikarsky, and those journalists really impressed with his movement for a guy of that size.
Yeah, it's fascinating, right? Two guys that have taken completely different routes in this combine process. Rocco is sort of leaning into the mystique a little bit. He's not participating in the scrimmages. He's relying on those measurements, those drills. He moved really well. He actually shot really well as well in the shooting drills. I don't know if we're going to see that translate, but he's ticking all those boxes. And, in terms of an upside guy, there's a lot of interesting potential there.
News coming through as we go to air with this show today at the time of recording is around the Eurocamp. The NBL are going to put a team together that's going to take part in it, which is fantastic to see. And while the squad's still coming together and there's a few moving parts, Lachlan Olbrich being one of them, but here are a couple of familiar names. And Karim Lopez, this is going to be him this time next year with a lot of the stuff that we're talking about.
That's right. So exciting to see what Karim could achieve in this setting. This is the same camp we saw Taron Armstrong do really well in pre-draft last season. So fascinating to see how Karim will perform. And then again, Chai Fa'ale, we spoke about him a few weeks ago. He had a fantastic under-18s campaign. He's still really young, really raw, but great that he's getting this opportunity. And then Taj Ariza.
That name's going to look familiar to a few people.
That's right. The Ariza, Trevor Ariza, is his dad. It's fascinating to see him in this this setting, does it have anything to do with the Next Stars program itself? Who knows? But it's great to see him aligned with the league in this way. So
more names coming in the next week, I would say, as the makeup of that squad takes place. But really, really good signs. And I think, Mick, too, to have an NBL representation at Eurocamp just puts Australian basketball on a global stage.
Yeah, as I said, it was cool enough just to see Taryn participating, but to have an NBL team, that is next level. It's so exciting to see the recognition the NBL is getting. And again, this is a competition pre-draft that has all the best international talent from all around the world. So it's a great platform.
Let's head to the WNBA. That season has now started to take shape. It's bad news for a couple of the Aussies who were cut at the very, very last minute. So shout out to Shanice Swain and also Chloe Bibby, who just missed their opportunities. That will be around the corner. But Alana Smith now looking very, very comfortable in the WNBA. She's been there for a few seasons. 18 points in 17 minutes in the season opener. That's how you start a season.
Yeah, filled it up on the offensive end, nearly a point a minute, but she was also fantastic on the defensive end. 2 blocks. We know how versatile she is in that respect. And something that I'm really loving about her game, her 3-point shot has come along in leaps and bounds. Knocked down 4 in this opening game. And if you look at the statistics, once she got to Minnesota, that part of her game is really opening up.
Was a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year, or should have been last year. I think if she starts with the form that she's got, she'll be in that conversation again.
It's all about momentum, and I think you couldn't ask for more than what we got from Alana in this first game.
And then when we're talking about the future of women's basketball, we can't not talk about Jade Melbourne, because she's got every single trick in the book, Jade. Again, back in the WNBA this season as well. I'm really interested to watch the year that she has, because I think her growth is about to go through the roof.
Absolutely. And we talk about momentum. The biggest thing is opportunity. And Jade is getting that this season. Now, she had 21 points, was her season high last season. Her next best was 13. She's already eclipsed that. She's had over 20 minutes in both contests so far, had 15 in the second game. So things are just ticking up and up.
Watch this space, I reckon. Jade Melbourne, most improved player. Can we put that one on the
like
radar
that.
early?
I'm on board.
Yeah. We make things happen on this show. If we want someone nominated for an award, just ask Dyson Daniels. We made it happen for him as well.
I'll claim that one as well, sure.
From an under-19 perspective, last week we spoke about the boys and what's coming up for them in a few weeks' time at the World Cup. We've now got the under-19 women's squad as well that's been announced as well. And this is a really, really strong squad.
Yeah, really fantastic across the board. I really like the front court. We've got Monique Williams, she's committed to Vanderbilt. We've got Satya Fagan, she's someone that we flagged having a fantastic under-18 competition with Victoria. And then also Callie Hinder, the daughter of Rusty Hinder. She stands at 6'6", has been doing the US high school pathway. But yeah, you think about that size and that skill in the front court, very exciting stuff.
And there's a couple of familiar names there for WNBL fans as well. We saw Manuela Poch play last year with Southside Flyers, and Bonnie Diaz was with the Sydney Flames, and because of injuries to Emma Clark and others, she got more opportunity. So she'll be a big leader in this team, I'd imagine.
I think she's going to lead from the front as far as the perimeter is concerned. I think a lot of the offense is going to revolve around her. And, again, you take those big players with some of the guards. I think it's a fantastically mixed team, and I think they're going to do a bit of damage.
Good luck to the Gems. I think they'll go really well, and Renee Garlop is doing a great job coaching this team as well. Big feature of Heat Check every single week, Mick, is Puerto Rico. We go there because we've got so much representation from Aussies and, of course, people around the NBL. When are we going to take this show to Puerto Rico, by the way?
You tell me, Jack. I'm ready. My bags are packed.
Tell you what, if we go to Puerto Rico, Joel, you're not getting your spot back. But Christian Doolittle is now going to become a focal part of the Perth Wildcats. He's having a great season in Puerto Rico. And got a new teammate last week, Montrezl Harrell, now playing with Christian Doolittle.
Yeah, Trez apparently got the memo. Puerto Rico is the place to be. He must be watching the show. I don't know. But what a fantastic tandem. It's so intriguing to see how these guys are going to play together. And I think, if we wanted to put our tinfoil hats on a little bit, the Perth Wildcats. You know where I'm going here. They've got a starting 5 spot. They've got an import spot available. Doesn't seem like that's the route they want to go down, but hypothetically speaking, and we're having a lot of fun with these Puerto Rican tandems, if these guys play well together, there might be something there.
Well, last week we tried to start the Josh King-Bryce Cotton rumour, didn't we? We didn't get very far there.
No. Look, I don't think it's going to happen, but, it's fun to think about, right?
On this show as well, we've spoken about the Mayaguez trio, who are playing together this season, and they're now 4th on the table, Mayaguez. They're moving up pretty quickly. Tyrell Harrison, Milton Doyle, Sam Wardenberg, all in the same team, and now they're starting to all put it together.
These guys are all having fantastic seasons. Most recently, they split a pair of games against the Capitans. A really talented team. They got Brandon Knight, they got Jalil Okafor, and Tyrell Harrison in particular, having a fantastic season, up to top 5 in the league scoring. The most dominant big man in the league. I cannot wait to see what damage he does in the NBL.
And I think, subject to Milton Doyle signing with Tasmania, which we're told is looking more and more likely, but we're going to see all 3 of them back this season. And for Wardenberg and Harrison, Mick, they're fit, they're healthy, and they're playing basketball, which is really great to see.
It's great to see, as you said. I think they're both, the momentum aspect of their game, they're just up and up right now. They're both having fantastic seasons over there. But Tyrell in particular, someone that struggled with health for so long. We finally saw a healthy season last season, but he feels like he's about to step up into marquee territory now.
Tyrell Harrison and James Bateman were teammates last season. At the moment, they're not teammates for next season, but we have spoken a bit about James Bateman and the kind of curiosity about what's next. One thing that we don't need to wonder about is his form in Spain. A little slow to get going, coming back from the hamstring injury, but his form in the last month has been fantastic.
I don't think we can understate the level of play that he's participating in Spain. He's playing some of the best teams in the world, Barcelona, Valencia. He's playing fantastically. He's actually scoring more points a game in less minutes a game than he was at Brisbane, which is pretty remarkable to think about. Now, there are a few caveats there. Those big games that he's played against those powerhouses, he has scored in single digits, but nonetheless scoring 20 plus against some real.
And if you watch some of James Bateman's highlights, there are times where he's playing the 1, and then there are times that he's playing the 2, which for Brisbane, I think they want a bit of that versatility as well.
Yeah, I think, as fans, we were trying to figure out, how good or not so good that James Bateman was, and he was figuring that out himself in terms of the fit at Brisbane. But what we're seeing, if he's able to shoot the ball at a high level, play off other guards as well, that's really his niche and where he excels.
Jack White's time overseas since departing Melbourne United, it couldn't have gone any better, and the story's still being played out as we speak. Not only is he playing in one of the best leagues in the world in front of some of the biggest crowds, but he's now going to the playoffs with Bayern Munich.
That's right. They're in the quarterfinals now, and Bayern Munich smashed the regular season. They finished top of the table. It's 1v8 right now, and they had a convincing 18-point win in their first game. Jack was a big part of it. 12 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. That might sound modest, but in the scheme of things, we've touched on Bayern have a very deep rotation. He was only 2 off being the top scorer in this game.
I'm just interested to know what's next for Jack White. I mean, at this stage, we don't see him returning to Australia. Who knows?
Yeah, it's fascinating to see, right? It feels like he's sort of auditioning for a contract next year as well, and it feels like he's leaning very much into that, not really entertaining the NBL right now, and based on this form, I think he's going to have a market.
While we're spinning the globe and looking at all of the events from around the world, we shouldn't not mention Ben Air, who's now finished his time in Germany. Now, if you look at Ben Air's numbers, Mick, on paper, they don't jump off the page at you, but for Ben, it's more about the experience, is it not?
Yeah, it's fantastic to get a taste of a new league, and it goes without saying, Germany is a really tough league. It is hard to get minutes here. Ben had his moments. He had a 13-point, 7-assist spark plug game off the bench last month. We did see those minutes sort of dissipate at the end there. He didn't make a field goal in his last 5 games, but fantastic for him to get a new experience in a new continent, a new style of play, and he can bring that back to the Jackies.
I'm really interested to see what it looks like for Ben Air at the Jack Jumpers. I think between he and Nick Marshall, 2 guys who will have some points to prove, I think they'll get some licence from Scott Roth. Ben Air will get his shots up.
Yeah, he almost feels like chalk and cheese to, the stereotypical Scott Roth player in many respects, but that's exactly what they need. They need someone to sort of counter that, be a little bit loose on the offensive end, get a few shots up, and potentially there's a real role there for him. Let's
finish off the show locally. Take a look at some of the big names performing in NBL 1. And, well, Will Hickey just appeared out of nowhere, basically. He was in New Zealand, fresh off winning a championship with Illawarra. Bob's up with the Sydney Comets and hits the ground running.
Yeah, fascinating, right? He had a fantastic time in New Zealand, averaged 26, 9 and 7, dominated that competition over 7 appearances. But now we have him at the Sydney Comets, a really fascinating fit here. He's playing alongside Bawali Bales in the backcourt. They actually have a lot of fun names. Obi Che is playing there. Future college prospect Gotch Malawal is playing on this team as well. Anthony Mundine's son is playing on this team as well. So it's a really fun, talented group. He had a very quiet first game, sort of let Bawali play first fiddle there, had 35 points. But I think both of them are going to be trouble for the rest of the season.
There's just a little example, that last play there. I can't see there being that many people in NBL 1 who can stop Will Hickey, because there weren't many in NBL who could stop Will Hickey.
Particularly in this East Conference, Davo is going to run amok. He's just so athletic, and when he gets the opportunity to play free basketball, like we saw in that final series, he's so hard to stop.
One of my absolute favourites in Australian basketball is Angus Glover. When the radar's on, I think he's so watchable, and he's putting together some really good numbers in NBL 1 South. Had a 30-piece on the weekend for Ringwood, and it's just playing a lot of really good, constant, steady basketball.
Had 2 good games on the weekend, 24 points in the first game. They lost that GEBC Cup to Nunawading on the Friday. Right. But in this Sunday game, 30 points, he's scoring at every single level, and he's part of a really fun Ringwood team as well. Jonathan Lawden's the import there. They got Tanner Krebs, Josh Tomasi, former Jack jumper. So putting up numbers on a really talented team.
He's shooting the lights out. He's fun to watch when he's in that sort of form. And I guess to finish off the show, we probably need to just devote a segment to Elijah Pepper, because we talk about Elijah Pepper. The show is aptly named Heat Check, which is just a weekly check-in with Elijah Pepper. Now that he's having games that are maybe a little bit quieter by his lofty standards, you sit down and look at his numbers. He's averaging 38.9 points a game. It's ridiculous.
It's absolutely insane. I was going to say he's simmering at about an 8 or 10 on the Scoville scale right now.
The what?
The Scoville. It's, you look a bit like the Hot Wings, the host of Hot Wings. He does the Scoville scale stuff. You should get onto it.
Okay.
But for anyone else, this is a 10 out of 10, right? He had 29, 5 and 5 in the first game, 32 and 11 assists in the second game, and it just feels like a day's work for him.
And the shooting clip, this is the other thing, 68, 40, 92 is his shooting clip for the season. That's ludicrous.
Yeah, insane. I'd be interesting to see if he keeps it up all season. It's gone on longer than I thought, to be honest. But, he is so talented at this level of play. And the other thing is they're winning games as well.
Yes. He's winning the MVP, isn't he, surely?
Hands down. No chance.
It's a wrap, which is a good way for us to finish. Elijah, keep doing what you're doing. We love it here on Heat Check. And Mick, we love what you're doing. This time next week, we might have a little bit more info when it comes to the draft.
Yeah, absolutely. We're nearing the pointy end now, so very fascinating to see how it all plays out.
You have a great week, and you have a great week at home. Thanks for watching us on Heat Check. Don't forget basketball.com.au for all the latest news and information from around the world as it happens. This has been Heat Check.